Hello. In this session, we will discuss data interpretation. Data will be given to you, and based on the questions, you have to interpret the data that is given. And the data will be given either in charts or in tables. When we talk about charts, you will get the data in bar charts, line charts, or pie charts, or it can be given in tables. And there will be a few questions, and you have to give the answer by looking at the data, looking at the chart, or looking at the table. So we will have a few questions based on the same chart, and we will start with the first one. Here the data is given in pie chart. So the first pie chart indicates candidates enrolled, and the second pie chart at the bottom represents the number of candidates or the percentage of candidates who passed the exam. The total number is 5,700. So it's basically what is it giving is the percentage of students who enroll for an exam. So the total number of students who enroll in an exam is 8,550, and the candidates who pass the exam is 5,700. So both pie chart, the first pie chart indicates the breakdown of the students from institutes P, Q, R, T, S, V, and X, and the number of students who have passed in the exam from these institutes. That is what is given at the bottom. P, Q, R, S, T, V, and X. The percentage is given in both cases. So the question is this: what percentage of candidates passed the exam from Institute T out of the total number of candidates enrolled from the same institute? So what we have to calculate is, we have to look at the number of students or number of candidates from the Institute T. How many have enrolled and how many have passed? So what percentage have passed from the T institute, or from out of all the candidates enrolled from this institute? So how do we do that? We have to look at the candidates enrolled. That is the first chart for the Institute T, and we see that 8%. So what we get is that 8% of 8,550 will be the total number of students from the Institute T who are enrolled, who have enrolled in this exam. And what about the percentage of pass? We can see T 9%. That means 9% of students from Institute T have passed. So 9% of 5,700 have passed, and these are the students from Institute T. So we can see the number of students enrolled from the first chart. The number of students enrolled from T in the first chart, that is 8,550 times 8 divided by 100. That is how we calculate the number, 8% of 8,550. This is the way that we calculate. Suppose we have a number, suppose it is X. Then we have to find out the students passed from the same institute. What is the percentage? 9% of 5,700 have passed. So 5,700 times 9 by 100, that will give a number. So X will be the number of students who have enrolled from Institute T, and Y will be the number who have passed from the Institute T. So what we have to do, we have to find the percentage of candidates passed from this institute out of the total number of candidates who enrolled in this institute, enrolled from this institute. So that will be Y by X. So percentage of candidates will be Y by X. That means number of students passed divided by the number of students enrolled. We have to get multiplied by 100, that will be the percentage, and that comes around 75%. We will look at another question based on the same data. And this question, which institute has the highest percentage of candidates passed to the candidates enrolled? So percentage of candidates passed to the candidates enrolled. The same thing, that is number of students who have passed to the number of students who have enrolled. And the options are Q, R, V and T. Out of this, which has the highest percentage of pass? Q, R, V and T are the institutes. So what we have to do is that, just like in the previous question, we found out the percentage for T. Similarly, we had to calculate the percentage of pass out of the total number of students enrolled for each institute. So for example, for the institute Q, how do you find it? 17%, the first chart indicates 17%, the second chart indicates 16%, it's not 17, I'm sorry. 16% of students out of 5,700 are there, divided by, we can see 8,550 times 17. No, it's for Q, I'm sorry. For Q, that's right. For Q, it is for the Q we are calculating. So for Q, the number of students that passed is 17%. So 17% of 5,700 divided by, look at Q for the candidates enrolled 8,550, that is 15%. So 8,550 times 15. So that is the number of students enrolled. So number of students passed out of number of students enrolled. We get a percentage. If we multiply this by 100, we get a percentage, that will be 75.56. Or this is a number, this number also can be used because whichever is the highest we have to look at. Now look at R. We can see from the second chart the pass percentage is 13% for R. So we find out the number of students passed from this institute R and the number of candidates enrolled from this institute, that is 10% of 8,550, 0.8667. Similarly, V we get 0.833 and for T we get 0.75. So out of this, which has the highest percentage of pass? That is R, which is 0.8667. We'll take one more question for this using the same data. The question is, the number of candidates passed from institutes S and P together exceeds the number of candidates enrolled from institutes T and R together by what number or what percentage? So we can see the number of candidates passed from institute S and P together. That means pass, that is the second chart, bottom chart. We can see S is 16% and P is 18%. So we can add these two and find the number by multiplying this percentage by 5,700. And you find the difference. That means for T and R, how many have enrolled? T, we can see 8% and R 10%. So 16 plus 18 times 5,700 will be the total candidates passed from S and P together, and 8 plus 10, that will be the times 8,550 will be the number of candidates enrolled from institutes T and R. And what is this difference? We get 1930 minus 1539 and the difference is 399. Now let's look at the data from another type of chart. Oh, this is a table. So what does this table give? It gives at the top expenditures of a company in lakh of rupees per year over the given years. So on the left side of the first column, you can see which year, from 1998 to 2002. That means 5 years data given. So item of expenditure, that is, what is the amount that is spent under the head salary, the expenditure for fuel and transport, the expenditure for bonus, the expenditure on interest on loans, and under the head taxes, how much was spent. So these are the different heads or different items on which or under which the expenditure is made and what is given here. The data is given like that. So we see the question, what is the average amount of interest per year which the company had to pay during this period? So the question is average amount of interest per year. So we have a column heading interest on loans. So focus on that. So the average amount of interest per year which the company had to pay during this period means from 1998 to 2002. That is the period that is given in the data. So during that period. So we had to add all these numbers that is coming under interest on loans. That is 23.4 plus 32.5 plus 41.6 plus 36.4 plus 49.4. So we are adding all these all this data for 5 years. Then to find the average, you divide by 5. So you divide by 5 and you get the number, that is 36.66 lakhs. We'll see another question based on this table. Total expenditure on all these items in 1998 was approximately what percent of the total expenditure in 2002? So there are three things you have to remember in this. Total expenditure on all these items. So there are three items given: salary, fuel and transport, bonus, interest on loans and taxes. So total of all these for 2 years, which year? One is 1998 and the other one is 2002. So we have to add the expenditure during 1998 and we get a number. Similarly, for 2002, add all these expenditures and we get a number. Then the question is that what percentage will be the expenditure, the total expenditure of 1998 out of the expenditure of 2002. So we had to divide what we get in 1998 by what we get in 2002 and multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So we see record percentage. We are adding the numbers in 1998. Salary is 288, fuel and transport is 98, bonus is 3, interest on loans is 23.4 and taxes is 83. So add all this, divide by the numbers in 2002, that is 420, 142, 3.96, 49.4 and 98. We get a number, multiply that by 100 to get the percentage, and that is 69.45, very close to that number. We'll see one more question based on the table, same table. The ratio between the total expenditure on taxes for all the years and the total expenditure on fuel and transport for all the years respectively is approximately what? So this is a ratio. And ratio between what? So it's between two numbers. Between which numbers? One is total expenditure on taxes. So for 5 years, what is the total expenditure of taxes? And that should be compared with the total expenditure on fuel and transport. So taxes divided by fuel and transport, the total. So for record ratio, we take the expenditure on taxes, 83, 108, 74, 88 and 98. You total that, divide by the expenditure on fuel and transport, and we get a ratio that is 1 divided by 1.3, that is you multiply by 10, it will be 10 by 13. Or is it 1 is equal to 1.3, or we can say 10 is equal to 13, all the same. So that is the ratio. Now we will see another type of chart, that is a line chart. Here we got a line chart which is actually describing or giving the data related to exports from 3 companies over the years, which are the years from 1993 to 1999. That will be 7 years. So 7 years data. On the y-axis, what is given is the amount in rupees or amount in crores. So like 20 crores, 60 crores, whatever is that. And you can see line chart the bottom, the legends are given. Company X is represented by blue line, company Z is represented by red line, and company Y is represented by green line. Now let us look at the question. For which of the following pairs of years the total exports from the three companies together are equal? Look at the question again. For which of the following pairs of years? That means there are some years in which the total exports from three companies together are equal. That means in 1993, the three companies' exports, we had to add all of them. 1994, three companies' exports, we had to add all of them. Like that, from 93 to 99, all three companies' exports should be added for each year and find out which years they are the same. For example, 1993, we can see the company X, the export amount is 30 crores, red one is 60 crores, green is 80 crores. So 80 plus 60 plus 30, that will be 170 crores. Then 94, look at what are the numbers we have to add. For the green one it is 40, for blue it is 60, and for red it is 90. So 90 plus 60 plus 40, that will be 190. So like that, you have to add and find out which 2 years has the same. Total exports of three companies X, Y and Z together during various years are, we can see 1993 it is 170 crores, 94 190 crores. Let us see like that. We can see for different years it's going to be like this. So we can see there are 2 years in which the expenditure the expenditures are the same, that is 95 and 96. So these are the 2 years, and that is the answer. Now the same line chart, we have same data. Question is this: average annual exports during the given period for company Y is approximately what percentage of the average annual exports for company Z? So we are comparing two companies' exports. But what is that? Average. So companies Y's total exports should be calculated, divided by the total number of years. That gives the average annual exports. That is, it's not the total, it is, we find the total, divide by the number of years, it will give the average. Similarly, you find the total export income of company Z and divide by 7. That gives the average annual export for Z. And then what we had to do, we had to find the ratio, the percentage. So that of Y on Z. So the average of Y divided by average of Z multiplied by 100, that gives the percentage. So average annual exports of company Y will be adding all these numbers, like company Y is, that is given in green color. So you can see 80, look at the chart, 80, then comes 40, then comes 60, 60, 80, 100 and 140. You can see, look at the chart and get these numbers and divide by 7. Similarly, look at the chart for Z. Company Z is actually represented by red line. So 93 it made 60, 94 it made 90, 95 the number is 120. From the chart you can get it. So add all these numbers and divide by 7, that will be 600 by 7. Now what is the ratio? Y by Z times 100. So that is 560 by 7 divided by 600 by 7. So actually what happens, 560 by 600 times 100, that will be 93.33%. Now one more question based on this line chart. In which year was the difference between the exports from companies X and company Y the minimum? So we have 7 years. For each year, find the difference between company X and company Y. That means blue and green. For example, in 93, blue is 30 and 93 Y is 80. The difference is 50. Again, for 94, green is, that is company Y is 40 and company X is 60. 60 and 40, it is 20. So like that, find the difference between company X and company Y. Export for all the 7 years and find which year the difference is the minimum. So this is how we calculate it. 93 is 50 crores, 94 is 20 crores. Like that, for each year, it's easy. You don't have to calculate like this. You can just look at the chart and you can find out. So which year it has the minimum? It is in 1996. Let's move on to a bar chart now. So what does this give, bar chart? Bar chart, it represents sales of books in thousands. That means when we have 105, then it's 105,000 books are sold. From 6 branches of a publishing company. Which are the 6 branches? They are labeled as B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 and B6. And 2 years, 2000 and 2001. 2000 is actually, in 2000 numbers is given in blue and 2001 it is given in red because the legend shows at the bottom. Red is 2001 and blue is 2000. And on the y-axis, sales in 1000 numbers is given. Now let us see the question. What is the ratio of the total sales of branch B2 for both years to the total sales of branch B4 for both years? So here we are trying to find a ratio as sales of one branch to sales of another branch. It is specifically saying total sales in both cases. So 2000 and 2001. That will be the total sales of branch B2. So we have 2 branches B2 and B4. So we are comparing B2 with B4 and total sales. So you know B2 we have the numbers 75 and 65 and B4 we have 85 and 95. So add 75 and 65 to get the total sales of B2. Add 85 and 95 to get the total sales of B4. And you divide B2 sales by B4. Even though, remember, it is given in 1000 numbers and all those, or lakhs of rupees, we don't go by that. We can just take this number and we can, because it's a ratio, it's a percentage, so we don't have to go exactly by the how many thousands or how many lakhs are there. These numbers will suffice. So record ratio, as I said, 75 plus 65 divided by 85 plus 95, and we get the ratio 7:9. And based on the same chart, we have one more question. What percent of the average sales of branches B1, B2, B3 in 2001 is average sales of branches B1, B3 and B6 in 2000? So what percent is the average sales of these 3 branches in 2001 compared to the average sales of B1, B3 and B6 in 2000. So 2001, whatever we are getting, you divide that by 2000 and multiply by 100. So we have to find the average sales of branches B1, B2 and B3 in 2001. So we know B1, B2, B1 in 2001, that is red color, that is 100, that is we are going for the first one, that is average sales of branches B1, B3 and B6 in 2000. So look at B1 in 2000 is 80, B3 in 2000 is 95, and B6 in 2000 is, that is a red color, B6 in I'm sorry, not in red color, it is 2000 is blue color, that is 70. So we add all this, divide by 3 because we have to find the average. Whenever it's average, you add all of them and divide by the number of years. Here we are specifying 3 years, so divide by 3. So that is a number. Now we find the average sales of branches B1, B2, B3 in 2001. So look for red bars in this. For B1, 105. For B3, B2, it is 65. Then for B3, that is red bar, is 110. You add all of them, divide by 3, and that will be 280 by 3. And what you have to do, you divide, that is 2001 by 2000 by 2000. So 245 by 3 divided by 280 by 3. Multiply by 100 will give the percentage. So you get 87.5%. So this is about the data interpretation. So we have done with the line chart, bar chart, pie chart, and tables. The data will be represented by these tables or charts, and we read and understand the tables or the charts, what is the data given. Read the question carefully, and you can get the data from the chart, and based on that you do the calculation and you will get the answer. So that ends our session on data interpretation. Thanks for watching.